thoughts I have to share. So good morning, everyone. Oh, it's so good to be joining you. This is Coffee Chat Magic with Katie, and this is a little bit different than what I've done in the past. And so today I'm going to fill you in on what's going on. We're going to talk about convention and recovering from travel and the importance of disconnecting from social media. Are you guys ready? I've got a lot to talk about today. So grab a cup of Joe or whatever you've got. I've got, in that Nebraska mug, I know. My husband loves Nebraska, go Cornhuskers. And I've got the rest of my smoothie. I've got some water going on today. And I am ready to share some beautiful knowledge with you today. So get ready for some fun. So a couple of months ago, first let's catch up on what's going on and why we're doing a coffee chat on a Tuesday at 11 o'clock, right? So first let me catch you up what's going on, and then we're going to dive into some of that other stuff. A couple of months ago, I had this inspiration that I needed to create a coffee chat, an online place for us to gather, to hang out, for me to share some of my thoughts. I felt in my soul that it was something that I was ready to do. And so I went about the normal planning process and some of the things I had done in the past, and I created a space every single week at the exact same time where I was going to come to you with this beautiful coffee chat and this beautiful conversation. And so I've been doing that for, a couple months now. I think I have like 10 or 12 episodes out there. You can find them on YouTube currently on the Magic with Katie YouTube channel. You can find them over at my website, magicwithkatie.com/coffee chats. You can find them in a couple of different places, but the more I ponder, the more I think about it, I want to turn this into a podcast. And you might have heard me talk about that on some other episodes about turning this into a podcast. And the reason for that is that that's the way I listen to content in the most effective and the most beautiful way, because I've got that little podcast app on my phone. And I can just queue up whoever I want to listen to when I want to listen to it. If I'm not in the mood for a coffee chat, I can switch over to my girlfriend, Ange Peters at Whole Fit, or maybe I'll switch over to Elena Brower or some Brendan Burchard or whatever I'm in the mood for. And it's a really easy platform. And I've had a lot of people come to me saying, hey, I want to catch your coffee chat, and you can't quite find it. And so this is going to be turning into a podcast. I'm actually in the works of talking with somebody to help me do that, because it's not something I want to take on myself. And so that is going to be coming as a podcast for you. So if you're a podcaster and you love listening to podcasts, this is going to be an easier way for me to deliver this content, this really beautiful special message. So what I found though, as I was doing it, is that I need to honor my creativity a little bit more. So my creativity, your creativity, all of our creativity, it doesn't fit inside of a box. Right? Do you know what I'm talking about? And so I think that sometimes we try to fit our stuff into a box. We try to fit how we're doing something into a box because it's how everybody else is doing it, right? So I saw so-and-so do it this way, so that means that has to be right because that person is uber successful. And so I'm going to fit it into that same box. Well, the reality was for me, the coffee chat magic at 10 a.m. on Wednesday mornings, it was really putting my creativity into a box because I want to show up in the best way possible every single time I come on and share content with you. And I can tell you right now, this brain of mine is a constant influx of ideas for the most part, right? It's always inspired and it's always getting downloads, but it's not always getting downloads at 10 a.m. on Wednesday morning. It just doesn't work that way. And so I never want to be canned to you. I always want to show up in that authentic truth and share the thoughts that are on my heart. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this up a little bit. Okay. So there's still going to be Coffee Chat Magic with Katie. It's going to be my online hangout. It's going to be a podcast. You'll still be able to find it on YouTube for the most part. Or if you're over on Instagram, hello, Instagram. I love you all. So good to see all of you on this morning. But what I found was it was just stifling my creativity, and I want to show up authentic to you. So this morning I went out on a walk and I had all these ideas flowing, and I was like, ooh, I need to share this with some people because I feel like there's some people out there that need this message. So sometimes this coffee chat might be like this. It might be me broadcasting from my office with my water, with my coffee, whatever I've got going on today. Other times it might be that I get creativity at 10 o'clock in the evening, 10 o'clock at night, or it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I don't feel like putting all my equipment up, and I might just go hang out in my closet and record some thoughts for you. So I'm allowing this to take whatever form it wants to take. And I really feel like in my soul, it feels so much better. It's like this big burden has been lifted off of my shoulders because I'm not trying to do everything in the box. So as you go into this week or this month or whatever, whenever you're listening to this, I want you to think about that same exact thing. What are you doing that might be stifling your creativity or your flow? And what do you feel like is holding you down? What's that backpack you're carrying around with a bunch of bricks in it that is only because you think you're supposed to do something a certain way? You think you're supposed to build your business a certain way. You think you're supposed to raise your kids a certain way. You're supposed to flow in your life and you're supposed to eat a certain way. Whatever that looks like, what do you have for me today? What do you have that is like holding you down just because you're trying to keep it in the box? We all have something. I can guarantee you this was not the only area of my life when I went to reevaluate and really think about what I desire, what my priorities are now that the kids are back in school, how I want things to flow. This wasn't the only area that I needed to do a little tweaking with. Okay. We all have something that we can do that we need to tweak just a little bit because you're not meant to be in a box. It's like baby's not meant to be in the corner, right? That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Dirty Dancing, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Nobody puts baby in the corner. But what do you have that you're trying to keep in the box? So that's one of the main things I want to talk about today, or I want to stimulate you to start thinking a little bit more about is what do you have going on that you're living inside of a box? Now, there are tools to success. There are things that you have to do to success. Believe me, this is something I coach on daily, hourly sometimes. There are different things that you have to do for success, but how you do those things is a little bit different, right? Just like if you're going on a road trip from LA to New York, you have to put gas in a car, you have to stop to eat, you have to stop at hotels, you have to stop and, refuel and things like that. But you get to take a different path, right? Your path might be different than mine on the road from LA to New York. You might stop in Chicago and I stop in Santa Fe. I might stay at the Ritz. You might camp outside under the stars. Actually, I would probably be camping out under the stars, maybe a couple of each nights. But that's where I want to go with this. There's nothing that's in a box. So this is going to be taking on a whole new look and feel along with some of my other projects that I've had in the works. Because I want to always stay authentic to me. I want to flow in a space that's good for me, because when I flow in the space of being completely grounded, I'm going to be able to offer you more content, more value. And if I can just change one of your lives, my mission is complete. But I hope to change a lot more of your lives. So what have you got going on that's inside the box? Think about that. Ba-bum, ba-bum. Like if you see her on the podcast, there's that, sometimes they have the little music. So ba-bum, ba-bum. Okay. So now let's move on. This is what I really wanted to share, beyond the fact that I'm going to show up at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday, because, hey, guess what? The other thing is my house is silent, and I do way better when my house is silent to do these for y'all. But the next thing I want to talk about is recovering from travel. Okay, so last week we had the biggest oil party in the world. Yes, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. We had the biggest oil party in the world in Salt Lake City for doTERRA. And it was amazing. I have been going to conventions since 2012 was my very first convention. So I've been going to a whole lot of conventions. My first convention, there was about 7,000 people at my first convention. And this year there was 30,000 people in Salt Lake to chat about oils, to learn more about the innovation that doTERRA is bringing to us, to talk about the co-impact sourcing, this beautiful mission that we have where when you use an essential oil, it's not just you that's benefiting, but it's literally over 500,000 people in small communities, in rural low economic areas that are benefiting, and they're being lifted up. So you're benefiting in your health, but it is like this trickle down effect that you have no idea is so beautiful. And so One of the things when I was there, and what I'm really trying to practice, and this is where I want to talk to you about it a little bit more today, is unplugging and actually embracing and loving on every single moment that you have with a person or in a group of people. And so last week, you might have noticed I really wasn't on social media very much. I wasn't doing very many Insta stories or posting on Instagram. I wasn't blasting out into groups. And there was this part of me that started to feel a little guilty about that, because I was like, oh, my people need this information. They need this content. But the reality was everybody had access to a live stream from doTERRA that you could purchase for a really small rate, a really small price, under $100, and you had access to all the content, and way better than I could even imagine to deliver. That live stream is still available to you. So if you want information for that, if you're listening to this before September 30th, message me and I'll help you get that, or check around on my page. But everybody had access to it, and I started to feel bad. But the reality was, I'm an empath. You guys all know that, right? So if you're here, more than likely, you're probably an empath too. And what it means to be an empath is that you feel all the feels of everybody else. And so 30,000 people in Salt Lake City, and the speakers and the presenters triggering all the different stuff in people not at home and not used to their same routines, it triggers a lot of stuff in people. It's normal. It's part of the process. But when you're an empath, you feel all that. And so over the last several years, I've really learned how to develop more and more tools in which I can incorporate different practices. And we're going to talk about my recovery practice in just a moment. But I've learned how to do a lot of that. And so I no longer get like icky feeling. I no longer get headaches. I no longer get dizziness. This is all super common. And I know this because it's happened to me, and I have team members now that it's happening to. And I get a lot of calls and a lot of text messages when I'm at convention. Hey, I've got a headache. I'm just not feeling good from all these crowds. So it's super common. So when I'm in that space, like I have all these tools, but the reality is not only do I want to be present, because being present is magnificent, but I also am holding the space for a large group of people. And so sometimes to actually then go on social media or to deliver content or to do that thing, it's one more thing that I just don't have capacity to do. Like, I'm going to be straight up honest. And I think in our society today, sometimes we get so caught up in, I have to do this. It kind of goes back to this box, is that I have to do this or I have to do that because everybody else is doing it. So-and-so has been doing Insta stories all day long. Oh my gosh, so-and-so just put out this amazing content. And I'm sitting here in my hotel room in my robe, not doing anything with my crystals and meditating to Joe Dispenza. Yeah, that was what I was doing. But I couldn't feel guilty. And part of me, because I'm human and because all of you are human, we try to keep up. We try to keep up and do something just like somebody else. And it burdens us and it weighs us down. When the reality is we just have to take a breath. You do you. You need to show up how it works for you. And for me last week, it didn't work to show up on social media. So if you're following me on Insta or Facebook, you're going to notice that when I travel, a lot of times I'm pretty absent. And the reason is because I'm absent on that platform so I can be present and thriving in the actual moment. Think about that. So that I can be thriving in the actual moment. I could connect with my team without worrying about my phone. I could listen to the presenters and sit and absorb what they were saying without worrying about taking a whole bunch of notes. Because guess what? I bought the live stream too. So if I need to take notes, if I need to go back and reference some stuff, I've got till October 31st with the live stream to do that. But I needed to stay present. So where are you not staying in your present in the moment because you're so damn worried about capturing the greatest picture for Instagram or the best picture for Facebook, or, oh my gosh, this is going to make the best Insta story and I'm going to get 10 more followers if I do this Insta story. Stop. We have to stop. It is ruining us. It is draining us. And then the comparison that follows is not healthy. It's adding stress upon stress upon stress to our life. It's adding comparison, and comparison is the thief of our joy. When was the last time you just decided to be present? That you didn't text anybody what the brand new product was. You didn't text anybody about this great thing you're having. You know what I noticed is that I've been to several concerts in the last several months. I went to Hugh Jackman in Salt Lake City. Amazing. So good in July. I went to the Zac Brown Band at the Iowa State Fair in August, and I was just at the doTERRA convention, and Andy Grammer came to sing for us. So good. So good. Front row seats. It was amazing. But what I noticed in every single one of those concerts, and it made my heart so sad, was that instead of enjoying the concert and just sitting back and dancing to the music, which is what I do, whether my husband likes it or not, or if anybody else likes it or not, I don't care. I'm here to dance. Instead of doing that, everybody had their phone out. Everybody had their phone out and they're videoing it because they want to show it to their friends. They're taking pictures because they want Instagram and Facebook to know what they were doing. Instead of just enjoying the moment of the concert. Why can't we do that? Where have we gotten that we can't just enjoy a moment, that we always constantly have to be attached to a damn device, hoping to capture the moment so we can share that moment with somebody else so that we can make our life look beautiful? Sit with that. Now, if that's you, it's okay. That's been me, and it is me sometimes. And I have to catch myself sometimes to be like, ooh, pause, Katie. Pause, stop getting caught up in that. You are not fake. You are here to deliver the truth. You are here to be authentic. And if you don't want to be on social media, it's okay. And it's the same with you. If you don't want to video every single concert just because somebody else is doing it, if you want to live fully alive, if you want to put your phone down and enjoy your kids, do it. I dare you. Because there's too many of us right now not doing it. We're not showing up and just enjoying and embracing the moments. So last week I did take some pictures, but not very many. I looked back at my camera roll. I'm like, I don't hardly have any pictures on here. But then I remembered why. I remembered it was because I was sitting in my seats and I was listening to what people had to say. I was bawling because Emily Wright was touching my heart in a way that she doesn't even understand because of an experience I had while I was at convention. I was laughing with people. I was enjoying conversation. I was doing some Joe Dispenza meditation because I wanted to make sure that when I left my hotel room, I was full and recharged and ready to serve whoever needed me to serve them. I was doing what I needed to do, and I didn't have time and I didn't have capacity for any more than that. And can I tell you what? It was the most beautiful, moving experience I have ever had at a doTERRA convention and I've been going since 2012, through all the ranks, through so many team members, but it was the best one yet because I stayed present. And guess what? Nobody probably even noticed that I wasn't on social media delivering all the things. That's the reality. Not one person even realized that. And this week, I can recharge. And then I can start pouring the content out. I can start inviting to all of the post-convention areas that people have. I can invite people to grab the live stream and say, hey, watch this information yourself, because there's no way I can regurgitate all of it. And I can start showing up in a different way because I was present and I had that experience. So this week, you're probably going to see a lot from me about convention and the new products and all the different things that we had going on. But last week, no, because I was holding space. and I was doing what I needed to do. And that's called boundaries. And that's a whole nother conversation, but that's called boundaries. It's called boundaries and honoring what we need to honor each and every day. Okay, so what did I do? So I went to convention, and I was making sure I was back to my hotel pretty early. I kept my nutrition on spot. I was drinking lots of water. One time I had 1 glass of wine. I was doing all the things that I do when I travel, and I have an entire travel blog over on my blog that you can grab on what I do when I travel. Some tips and tricks, but it's actually more important for me to stay point on while I travel than when I'm at home. And so I was doing all the things, and I stayed away from social media, but my body still needed recovery time. Okay. I still needed some pause. I still needed some rest. And this morning I was like, oh my gosh, Katie, you really have to get back at it, because I have all these people that are messaging me, and it is time for me to get back into it. But I had to pause, and I had to rest, and I had to reset. So this is what I did. And I'm just going to share a couple of the things. So I got home late on Saturday evening, and my husband and my son actually got home later than I did, 2:00 in the morning, because they had gone to the Nebraska game in Lincoln. And so Sunday was our son's birthday, and we all slept in a little bit. We went to church. We just enjoyed. We were all in bed early. And yesterday I was still crushed, right? Because I had all that energy and all those people and all those things attaching to me. Right? And I needed to reset. So yesterday I ate clean. I puttered around the house. Do you guys putter? Do you guys know what it means to putter? One of my other leaders and I have this joke that we like to putter around, and we put in some podcasts, we put in some music, and puttering around just means I'm working on the dishes and the laundry and putting all the things away. And, I revamped, I reset, I worked on my prepare so that now I can go out. I wasn't ready to serve yet. I needed to let all the ideas jostle around in my head. I canceled the team call last night. We shifted it to tonight because I was like, there is no way I can show up. And I think that's also important, that we don't necessarily always just need to take a break from social media, but we need to take a break from our business. And sometimes when we're in the business of business, right? If we're an entrepreneur, we worry so much about what we spend all of our time thinking that we have to push. That is so much masculine energy that it's going to make you break, right? That's where a lot of our stress comes from. That's where a lot of our fatigue comes from, because we're constantly pushing. Okay. And so we need to take a break, because sometimes the best thing that our business needs is for us to be recharged. And so yesterday, that's what I did. I gave myself a facial with some of the doTERRA stuff. This morning, I made sure I took all my supplements, because there was a couple of times last week that I did not do that. I put out some of my new oils, my new diffuser, connected with my husband. I did all these things to recharge my body. And then this morning, I got some movement, and that's where all the ideas really started to flow. It's like when we're at something like that and we've been around so many people, all that energy gets stuck in our body. And the best way to get it out is to either dance. I was on the stage on Saturday making everybody dance, it was so much fun. Oh, that's another conversation. But dance, movement, whatever works for you, you have to do it. So today I went on this giant walk, and it was really hot outside. It's hot in Iowa in the fall. It's supposed to be turning fall, but it kind of tricked us. And so now I'm in the process of getting those energy moving. I'm ready to dive back in because I allowed myself to recharge. So it's just like your phone every night. It's just like your watch. If you have an Apple Watch, you have to pause and you have to reset. You have to allow yourself to recharge and plug in and get ready. So those are just a couple of the things that I'm doing. I wanted to share that with you. I felt like you all needed to hear that message. I know this chat is kind of a hodgepodge of different things, but I feel like we can come and bring them back to one core theme, is that don't live inside of a box and listen to you, right? Stay in your own lane and do what is true to only you. It doesn't matter what somebody else is doing. It doesn't matter, even if they're successful, it doesn't matter what they're doing. because you are a different person and there is only one that is unique and brilliant like you. And so you have to do what works for you. Yes, there are principles to success, right? There are different things that we need to do every single day to create success. But I think one of the biggest pieces of success that is so undervalued and so dismissed because it's not what we might have been trained in is that your success is inside of a box and it looks like everybody else's, because it does not. Your success is going to look like your success. And the only person that can tell you what it's supposed to look like for you beyond the core activities is you and this right here, this beautiful heart that you have. It's here to show you what your success looks like. It might not be what mine looks like. It might not be essential oils. It might not be through meditation. It might not be through different things. It might be that you find that you get it through massage or that your movement is running and not Zumba. You get to choose what it looks like for you. Again, there's core pieces, but then you get to explore and you get to do what is true to this heart right here. And too many times we're listening way too much to here and our ego and our judgmental space, and we forget to just listen to this. So this week, as you go out or whenever you're listening to our chat, I want you to stay true to you. Don't live inside the box. The box is boring. The box looks just like everybody else's U-Haul moving box. Live outside the box. Dance to your own tune. Dance daily like nobody else is watching and that you don't give a shit. Because that is where that true, deep happiness will come from when you stay grounded and rooted and true to you and you don't care what anyone else thinks. Disconnect to find that piece of you and then show up and serve the world. Love you so much. Okay. Couple of announcements before we completely wrap it up is I've got so much fun stuff coming. So much fun stuff. It's going to be, Make sure you're checking my magicwithkatie.com website. There's going to be more and more updates to that. But the events section, I have a lot going on online, in person. I'm going to be teaching a lot on oils, a lot on energy, a lot on what it means to be an empath, a lot on how to be a goddess, how to gather with other women. So much really fun stuff that I've only been doing live, but I'm going to start doing it online. So make sure you go over there, grab the empath guide that I have on my website. When you grab the empath guide, that actually taps you into my VIP list. And if you're on the VIP list, you're going to get all of the information ahead of time, including maybe some codes that you're going to want. So make sure you're following me on all those modalities. Share this with somebody that you want. If you want to connect, I would love to connect with you. Just send me a private message, send me a DM, whatever it looks like, or you can always email me at katie@magicwithkatie.com. I'm here to serve you. Okay, so even if you don't see me on Insta all the time or Facebook all the time, it doesn't mean I'm not here loving on you. I just like to serve you in person. And sometimes I just need to disconnect just like you. So enjoy your day. I love you so much. And I can't wait to connect even more with all of you. Bye.